This is News at 6 on WCJB TV 20, your local station.
20 county sheriff's deputies are investigating a tragedy in Live Oak this evening. 3 children are dead after they were found in a freezer last night.
The sheriff says the adults who were there may face consequences. TV 20's Beyond Villegas joins us live to show us where it happened.
3 children were playing.
Paige, Dave, this is definitely a tragedy that has shaken the whole entire community here. So this is actually the house where the 1-year-old, the 4-year-old, and the 6-year-old were playing in their backyard. Here behind me, there is a trampoline in the front yard and in the backyard, and the sheriff says that that's what the kids were doing right before they climbed into the freezer. The sheriff says while the kids were playing outside, the mother of the 4-year-old actually went inside to use the bathroom, and during that time, the sheriff says the children climbed inside the chest freezer outside, and they couldn't get out because the latch on it fell, trapping the children inside. The freezer was outside and it was not plugged in. When the mother returned, she couldn't find the kids and began to search for them with the grandmother of one of the children, who was also one of the adults present. While searching, the adults found the children in the freezer not breathing, and that's when the mother called 911. The sheriff says it's actually illegal to leave freezers like the one in this case outside, and it is still unclear if or how long the kids were stuck in the freezer, and foul play at this time is not suspected. Tonight at 11, I'll have more on this story. For now, reporting live in Live Oak, Brianna Villegas, TV 20 News.
After an elderly couple went missing and human remains were found at their home, a man has since been arrested while driving their car in Omaha, Nebraska. Marion County detectives went to Omaha over the weekend to interview Alan Gilbert about Leighton and Donna Underwood and the human remains. Gilbert's being held on a Marion County warrant for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. So far, that's the only charge he has at this time.
We had put out a missing endangered bolo, and that goes to every law enforcement agency that we can reach. And so law enforcement received information on that vehicle that we were looking for in Omaha, Nebraska. And so then we were able to find him from there.
Investigators have confirmed to TV 20 that, in fact, they did recover human remains at the home on Southwest 47th Street in Denellen. They're still working to identify who the remains belong to. The Underwoods, though, are still listed as missing and endangered.
Time to check on our weather situation around north central Florida. Kind of a quiet Monday to start the work week.
Temperature's starting to drop out there, Bill.
Yeah, once the sun sets here, we're going to see the temperature really take a nosedive as we head overnight tonight, getting into the upper 30s. So no freezing temperatures, but it'll be a bit of a chill in the air to start out the day. Take a look at the airport right now. You can see the skies mostly clear. Sun setting back out to the west. This is looking north, and you still have some low clouds in that direction. Temperatures down to 53 degrees, so we dropped a bit from last hour. You can see that wind out of the north-northwest now at about 6 miles an hour. Temperature-wise across north central Florida, and a few spots into the upper 40s as you look back over into areas near Jacksonville, 49, 48 in Lake City, 53 in Gainesville, and 55 in Ocala, and even a cool 57 back over to Cedar Key. You'll see those north and northwest winds continuing through the evening hours. More of a northeast wind developing out on the east coast, and that'll help to bring in a little bit more moisture, but temperatures are going to remain pretty chilly. Overnight tonight, some clouds and chilly temperatures. It's going to be sunny but cool during your Tuesday. And your extended outlook, there's a slow warm-up. We'll tell you how warm it gets and when the next chance of rain moves in just a few minutes.
Arrests have now been made and charges brought in an animal cruelty case in Union County. Cheryl and Richard Irvin have been charged with 37 misdemeanor counts and 4 felony counts of animal cruelty. A third person, Pablo Rivas, has been charged with 1 felony count. In October, investigators found dozens of horses living in inadequate conditions and showing signs of neglect, needed medical attention at a property near Lake Butler. 50 horses had to be removed from the property and taken to the hospital. Those horses were then sent to equine rescue groups across the country.
A 19-year-old woman says she was sexually assaulted on Santa Fe's Northwest campus in Gainesville last night. Now law enforcement officers are still looking for the attacker.
TV 20's Alex Calamia is live at Santa Fe College, and he tells us why students say they're surprised. Alex?
On campus, police tell me that it's the first time they've had a sexual assault on campus in more than a year. It happened on Sunday night when a man went behind a woman while holding a knife, forcing her into his car, where he then sexually assaulted her. Here's what else we know about this incident.
Crimes like sexual battery and sexual assault happen so rarely at Santa Fe College. We take them extremely seriously.
The incident happened on the south side of campus between 7:30 and 9:30 on Sunday night.
The victim in this particular case was separated from her party on campus, and a subject came up behind her, produced a weapon, and sexually assaulted her in his vehicle. So obviously we're looking for both him and for the vehicle.
The suspect's described as a 25 to 35-year-old Hispanic or African-American male. He was driving in a dark-colored later model four-door sedan.
We believe that the victim and the suspect are strangers.
The 19-year-old victim escaped and went to her house before the police were notified. Now law enforcement's continuing to sort through the evidence to learn more about the attacker, while some students are worried about their own safety. What are your first thoughts after hearing that?
Well, first of all, I'm 19, so that could have happened to me.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty safe place to be, so it's surprising.
But even in a usually safe place, students tell me they don't take the chance.
I have a taser.
I kind of want a spray,
So
to be honest.
probably going to go out and buy some stuff, knowing
Yeah.
what's happened.
Yeah.
We walk together to class and everything, so it's always like a buddy system.
Students also have on-campus police as a resource. They're operational 24 hours a day and say that they'll help escort any student who feels unsafe. We have their number on our website right now, WCJB.com. Reporting live in Gainesville, Alex Calamia, TV 20 News.
Coming up next, it's been a year since the first murder in the city of Alachua happened in more than a decade.
And tonight we're hearing from the victim's mother. That story next on the TV 20 News at 6. On this date last year, 27-year-old Dana Walker Jr. was shot dead in broad daylight on a basketball court in Alachua by 15-year-old Kamari Hampton.
TV 20's Landon Harrer went back to ask police how they've been handling gangs in Alachua a year after, saying the shooting was gang-related.
The next night after Walker Jr. was shot dead, police say a retaliation shooting injured 5 more people. And while investigators worked to bring everyone involved to justice, the question of gangs in Alachua still lingers.
We don't have a gang problem in the city of Alachua. You know, we had 2 groups that identified themselves, you know, as a group or as a gang, and you know, that's obviously we've been dealing with that. We've been, you know, as Chief said, dismantling that.
Walker Jr.'s mom and sister, however, disagree it was gang-related at all.
And I don't believe that it was gang-related and all of that. It was just a retaliation of get back because my baby was a nice gentleman. He was very sweet, very kind, loved the kids, you know what I'm saying, very funny. He kept people laughing with smiles.
As Walker Jr.'s family joined together to remember him, his mother says she's forgiven, but won't forget.
Well, me, I have forgiveness in my heart, first of all. Like I said before, you can run, but you can't hide. God see everything. At the end of the day, I have God first in my heart, and I really miss my baby.
The family released balloons into the air next to the grave with the letters LLBD floating into the air, meant to stand for Long Live Big Dana.
It felt good. It felt like love. It felt like he's very missed. He's very missed. And the true thing about it, all the balloons stuck together, going up in the air like. It was really exciting to see.
Walker Jr.'s killer was charged in adult court, but a plea deal put him into juvenile detention, where he can only be held until he's 21 years old. Landon Harrer, TV 20 News.
Coming up next, and one of the great things about living in Florida is we have flowers all year long.
Yes, we do. Will we get some rain for these flowers, Bill?
Well, we're below average for the year, but will the rain return anytime soon? We'll have that answer for you coming up in a few minutes. We managed to squeak out the 60s for this afternoon. 61, 62, the official high temperature. Average should be in the upper to middle 60s. We're going to get warmer than this tomorrow just a little bit, but I think it'll be more sustained lower 60s for tomorrow afternoon. Even back up to the north where the clouds have stuck around, they stayed in low mid 50s. Live Oak and Lake City 52 and 54 degrees. As we head a little bit further to the south, you can see even Ocala only sticking around with 61 for this afternoon. So the mild air has disappeared. We're going to see some cooler air moving on in, and the dry air as well. We had quite a bit of cloud cover building in through a good part of the day, and we're going to see those clouds really thin out, maybe stick around a little bit to the north. That'll keep their temperatures up a little bit for the first few hours as we head through the overnight, but then just about everyone should start to clear out, and that means our temperatures will drop into the upper 30s. Right now, temperature 50 degrees in Live Oak, 48 in Lake City, so not a big change from your high temperature for today. 53 in Gainesville, 55 in Ocala, so warming up the further south you go, but still a little bit of a chill in the air as we head through the early evening hours. Winds out of the north and the west throughout most of this afternoon. Just a light breeze right now, gusting up close to 10 miles an hour at times. We'll probably see even less wind for the next couple of days. And with the lighter winds and the dew points changing, the northwest wind bringing in the dry air means the dew points are dropping. Going to get into the upper 30s here shortly, so that's where our temperature's going. Near 40 degrees in most areas as we head overnight tonight, mid-40s along the coastline, inland areas up and down I-75 near that 40-degree mark north and south. Our radar and satellite showing the clouds thinning out, still holding on out in the Gulf of Mexico and in the Atlantic Ocean, but our cold front is pushed well off towards the south, and behind that we have little to nothing as far as precipitation goes. Had a little bit of flurry activity here from time to time just north of Memphis and the parts of Tennessee, but other than that, we're going to remain pretty dry over the next several days. High pressure builds in, which means lighter winds, a lot more sunshine, and warmer temperatures getting back to the mid to upper 60s, and then as we get to the weekend, back into the 70s, but that's when our rain chances kick back into play. Over the next 24 hours, we see the 30s and 40s take over across the southeast, but absence of 20s right now. But then tomorrow afternoon, we warm it up again in the 60s in Florida, just about everywhere else in the mid to lower 50s, unless you're in the southern Appalachians, but they stay in the mid 40s. We're going to see the winds out of the north and then shifting around a little bit, more of a northerly wind, and then northeast as this high pressure builds back in over the next day or so. But lighter winds will be in the forecast, which mainly means warmer temperatures backing into the forecast. We'll go with 39 degrees, mostly clear skies as we head overnight tonight. I expect to see those temperatures remain pretty chilly for the early morning hours, and then by noon, it'll be cool, but slowly warming up and getting back into the low 60s for afternoon highs. But that sunshine will feel pretty nice after a kind of a cloudy day today, and temperatures back into the mid 60s and the upper 60s and low 70s with the rain chances. With a cold front approaching on Sunday, maybe some stronger thunderstorms, and temperatures cool off after that. Look at the high temperature on Monday, only 52 degrees. All right, forecast back. The driest January in Gainesville recorded blank inches of rain. Is it A, a trace, B, 1.11 inches, or C, 0.11 inches? It's 0.11 inches, and we are well below average for the year so far. A little bit more than half an inch for the month, but we still have a ways to go.
How much is a trace then, technically?
1/100th of an inch.
Oh, gosh.
Not
Yes,
much.
that's a trace.
That's a little. Thanks, Phil.
Well, it is day 24 of the partial government shutdown with no signs of either side being willing to compromise.
Camila Bernal reports millions of Americans are feeling the effect, including tens of thousands of TSA workers.
Snowy scenes in Washington, mirroring the frozen state of negotiations over the government shutdown.
Make no mistake, to me, this shutdown is caused by President Trump.
The Democrats are stopping us.
President Trump began week 4 of the shutdown, backing off a recent threat to use executive power to fund his $5.7 billion border wall.
I'm not looking to call a national emergency. This is so simple, you shouldn't have to.
But any hope of progress to reopen the government this week appears slim, with no meetings scheduled or new proposals on the table. Meanwhile, millions of Americans across the country are feeling the sting, including at the nation's busiest airports.
TSA workers just below us, assisting travelers, making sure that that we are safe as we travel to Washington, D.C., and are doing it without a paycheck.
Roughly 51,000 TSA screeners are working without pay. Hundreds have called out sick since this shutdown began, causing backups at some major airports. Lines sneaked all the way to baggage claim at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport in Atlanta on Monday. Air traffic controllers also feeling the effects.
The morale is just funneling down, just as fast as you can imagine.
Despite the understaffing issues, officials say it's still safe to fly. Travelers just might need to budget more wait time.
We're going to keep everybody safe. That's what we do.
In Washington, I'm Camila Bernal.
Florida men's basketball team is coming off another discouraging loss.
TV20's Kevin Wells is here to tell us the Gators get right back into action.
Absolutely, that SEC schedule is brutal. 3 days after the Tennessee loss, Florida gets on a plane for Starkville, where the Bulldogs will not be feeling sorry for the Gators. We preview the matchup next. You know how 50 is the new 30? Well, the SEC might be the new ACC. A league once dominated by Kentucky and later on Florida is now also among the deepest in the nation. And although it's January, time is already running out on this year's Gators in their quest to join the elites. Florida heads to number 24 Mississippi State tomorrow at just 1-2 in the SEC, really in need of a solution for closing out games. Against South Carolina, blown 14-point lead. Arkansas escaped that one after being up by 16. And Saturday versus number 3 Tennessee, outscored by 14 in the final 6 minutes. To give you an idea of the SEC's overall strength, the 12-3 Bulldogs have actually lost 2 straight games themselves. Certainly won't be a picnic tomorrow night in Starkville.
Try not to watch the clock. You know, SEC games, you got to take the games, and I think some of these past couple games, we just waiting for the time to run out. You know, trying to hope we win the game. I feel like we just have to take the game.
I'm not sure we have much frustration. I'm not sure how important it is. And if there is, it's not communicated. Just kind of just a really somber group at timeouts, in film sessions. We've got too much apathy.
Now, the Florida women are off until next Sunday, and the Gators can strut around campus a bit after picking up their first SEC win yesterday, a 58-56 upset of Missouri, which came in 3-0 in conference. Danielle Rainey with 16 points, her first game in double figures as a college player. And how about the comeback here? The Gators dig out of a 14-point hole and score the game's final 10, winning it on Delicia Washington's layup with 2.2 seconds to go. Florida victorious in league play for the first time since last February 18th, 5-12 for the season. It is assured that one former Gator will win a Super Bowl in 3 weeks, just not sure which one, because all 4 participants in Sunday's conference championship games have a Florida alum in a key role. It's the Patriots and Chiefs for the AFC title. DeMarcus Robinson, Kansas City's 6th leading receiver this year, 22 catches on the season. On the other side, former Gator Trent Brown starts at tackle for New England. He was a big part of the Patriots' 155 yards rushing against the Chargers. Florida product Duke Dawson Jr. is also on the Pats, but has yet to see any action. In the NFC, Dante Fowler Jr. had 3 tackles, including a sack as L.A. got by Dallas. The Rams also have former Gator Dominique Easley on injured reserve. The Rams visit the Saints and starting linebacker Alex Anzalone for the NFC title. Everybody is pinning the Eagles' defeat on Alshon Jeffrey. You might have seen Anzalone out of the corner of his eye, altering his concentration, setting up Marshawn Lattimore's game-sealing interception with less than 2 minutes to go. It ought to be fun to see which teams advance on Sunday. Whether you play a sport or not, choosing a college is one of the biggest decisions a student has to make. And today, Sierra Millinor of Eastside signs her national letter of intent to play soccer at Huntington College, a Division III program in Montgomery, Alabama. Millinor, a forward for the Rams, has a big role in their 11-2 start. She plans on studying elementary education at Huntington. So athletics is kind of the icing on the cake.
I'm really excited for that too. I've always been playing soccer. I've been playing since I was 4, and so it's been my lifelong dream to play soccer in college and just to keep that career going.
Andy Murray could have just played his final Australian Open match, falling in round 1. Great Britain's favorite son announced his plans to retire no later than Wimbledon because of a hip injury that requires surgery. Murray did leave the door open slightly for a possible return, but the Aussie Open played a video tribute to him after his loss with comments from other players, so certainly feels like the end for him. He's had a great career, 3 Grand Slam singles titles. And speaking of Murray's, Kyler Murray says he's going to the NFL draft. Still has the opportunity, however, to play pro baseball. He's already been drafted in the first round there.
All right. Thanks, Kevin, very much.
Back in a moment.
Welcome back, and we have some good news if you're a fan of Game of Thrones. The series is coming back. HBO officials say its signature program will return April 14th. There are only 6 episodes, but some of the installments of the final season are expected to run more than an hour.
And the finale, you may remember, of the 7th season broke a record of 16.5 million people tuning in. The show is expected to end on May 19th. Bill, winter's not just coming, it is here.
It's here, and hopefully we'll warm it up a little bit after we have a couple of cold nights. Take a look at what we have. Overnight tonight, getting down into the 40-degree range in most areas, but the skies definitely clearing out. 38, 39 in Gainesville, and then during the daytime tomorrow, back into the lower 60s. We warm it up a little bit more than that after another cool start on your Wednesday morning, but Wednesday afternoon, 66, 64, 65, so some mild air sitting in place. We will expect to see temperatures rebounding a bit as we get towards the latter part of the week. 69 on Thursday, above average 73 on Friday, and mid-70s on Saturday, but that's before a cold front moves on in and gives us another chance of some showers and thunderstorms on Sunday. But then 20% chance of rain next Monday, probably not going to be adding up to too much. But we could see substantial rain for the end of next weekend. But for the next couple of days, it looks pretty good. So get out and enjoy it.
Yeah, we'll enjoy the sun while we just have it, right?
Thanks for joining us.
ABC's up next. We're back here at 11 o'clock. We shall see you then.
Good night.
Right.